right? Because I do have a way that I would like these to look. This is one of those kind of class activities where it's like, can you follow instructions? So before we talk about that card, because I've already received like a million questions about homework, read what's on the board. So some people have already turned in their 114. I have those, I checked them off. I don't care when you turn it in. Turn it in by Friday. 115, like last night's homework that we're going to check here in a minute, I don't want that until Friday. I mean, you can turn it in Thursday, but our goal is to get all of these homeworks that I gave you in the packet done and turn those in together, right? That's our goal. If we haven't met that goal, we might use Friday as a work day. We might use it as kind of like a catch-up day to try to give you an opportunity to wrap stuff up. Do not plan on that, right? Don't tell yourself like, oh, I'll do it on Friday at school. Please do not plan on that. So, announcements, just make sure I didn't blow past anything. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can also share with people at your table group. You might notice we're in groups of 3 now. I think that works better than groups of 4, and it keeps somebody from having to be completely backwards. Right? What is that? Oh, you never hand it right to me. Where does homework go? Boom, in the bin. If you hand it to me, I would lose it in the next like 30 seconds probably. Guys, do not let yourself get behind on homework. And I'm going to pull some people out of class here in a couple minutes probably to chat about, hey, you didn't turn in your homework and I just want you to be aware. You're not in trouble, right? But it's one of those things of like, if you dig yourself a hole, it sucks to climb out of it. If your hole is too deep, it starts to feel impossible to climb out of it. So I'm here to tell you right now, do not dig yourself a hole. We're going to start to have little homework quizzes. Guys, I got a lot of people not paying attention. And I absolutely hate when people tell me I didn't tell you something, because I like to be very forward. I like to be very honest and transparent with you guys. One of the things I do, will have these little homework quizzes that is like 1, maybe 2 questions. That's almost exactly what you did on the homework. So today, if we were going to have a homework quiz, what I might ask you to do is the portion representations, right? And we're going to go over your homework in just a second, but like this was on last night's homework, so if you don't do the homework when it's assigned, that homework quiz might be a little bit tough. That's okay, we're a mastery school, but that's why like you should really try to do your assignments when they're assigned. What I want you to do with that playing card, if I put the card upright and turn it, the top left corner, no matter which way I turn it, is open. Even if I'm looking at the busiest card, which is probably like a king or a queen, I've got a line to write on essentially. What I would like you to do is on the one side of it, put your first and last name. Then spin it 180 degrees and just put your first name. And that just first name, if you like to be called anything else that like isn't your actual name, you can put it there as well. Guys, I use these to randomly draw on people to like talk, just share ideas. Can I force you to talk? No. I love how some of you actually were thinking about like, I don't know, can he? Like, no, I can't force you to talk, right? I can't like, not like a ventriloquist, you're not my dummy. So guys, if I call on you to talk and you don't want to talk, what do you say? You say pass. You just say pass. You can always pass, right? So I use these cards to randomly call on you, but let me tell you what happens then. So if I call on Micah and he doesn't want to talk, I'm not going to put Micah at the bottom of the deck, because that's silly. Then what if Micah always passes? I'm probably going to put Micah like 3 or 4 cards down, so that I call on a couple more people, but then Micah gets another chance to talk today. The reason I use the deck is to try to be fair and make sure that we get to hear from everybody in our class. Guys, when I started as a teacher, and then go ahead and get your homework out, I'll come around and collect these. When I started as a teacher, I had a mentor teacher who would watch me and like give me some pointers and some feedback. And he watched my class and kept count of how many times I called on some kids and didn't call on others. And it was kind of alarming. Right? I was like, oh my gosh, some kids never get called on. Because if you don't raise your hand, because some of us just don't really raise our hand. I'm curious if I show you guys a deck of cards, you'll know, if you know this game, you'll know what game this deck of cards goes with. I'm just always kind of curious who knows what in here, because I'm getting to know you guys. Thank you. Did I miss me? Yeah, I missed this last back table, didn't I? Alright, you're making it look awesome. Make sure I get that before the end of class. Just don't let me forget. Alright, question for you guys. Can anyone tell me what this deck of cards would be used for? Does anyone in here know how to play euchre? Do you, Mia? Euchre is a card game that only uses tens and higher. So literally, you only use part of the deck. Sorry, if you knew about euchre, you would know that just by looking at the deck. So let's look at our homework. Guys, I did your homework like what I would expect from you. Sure, go grab it. And we're going to do this for a couple minutes. So guys, it's okay if you like draw arrows and stuff. It's okay if you highlight things and kind of give me a roadmap. What's not okay is not answering the question. Right? So for this one, it's asking me to describe the pattern. And students came yesterday and they were like, I don't know really how to put this into words. I don't really know how to say this. And I said, well, like, can we draw things? So the number of ones that we got in our answer is equal to this number, right? This like 5. So a lot of people that came to talk to me, they were like, well, this tells us how many ones, and it is the next number up from 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the next one, if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the next number up is 6, and my prediction is 6 ones. So I draw a little picture to indicate that. 6 and 7 and 7 ones. Thank you. Any questions on 45? 46, part B especially could have different answers. I don't know about part A or part C having different answers, but part B, what else if I didn't say 3 halves? If instead, if I kind of visualize that this one is split also, John?
I said 7,500.
Yeah, because if I say 1, 2, 3, 4 parts here, it's 3 out of 4. But if I say that the triangle was all that I needed and somebody brought me an extra half, well, that's 150%. But if I only have 3 out of 4, that's 0.75 or 75%. Well, either of those answers is right. So either 150% or 75%. 15? That would not be correct. I guess the only other answer I would maybe say is the unshaded part could be like 25%, but we were supposed to be referencing the shaded portion. Right? So the direction said shaded portion. And then part C, 2 out of 3, comes out to be that 0.6 repeating. Any questions on 46? Alright, flip it to the back. Whoop, tipping my camera. Guys, your pictures do not have to look exactly like my pictures. 2 out of 3, I'm thinking pizza. Or like a real big pie. 1 and 1/8, I thought about drawing circles, but it's kind of hard to split a circle up into 8ths and make it look good. So I split a rectangle up into 8ths. Did 1 and 1/8. 6 out of 9, shaded in 6 of 9 of something. Guys, notice that I'm not like walking around scolding people that don't have their homework out. If you didn't get it done, you didn't get it done, and like that, just get it done at some point, right? And then if you want to come back and check these answers, they'll be in the YouTube video. For 48, you didn't have to do this, but I think the said yesterday in class, we wrote down a note about unit price, yeah? Guys, I'm actually asking, so I'm not sure if we did in this class or if that was the afternoon class. Did we write down how to do unit price? Then we should, okay? So when we go to our notes, remind me, and we should make a little note about unit price. But what we always do is the total price divided by the number of units. When I do that division, I get that each of them would be $1.05. Then, if I multiply by 3, we get $3.15. And then my area, guys, if you only have like just answers for area, you're going to get a check minus. You gotta have shown out what numbers you're using, because if your answer is wrong, we need to figure out why. We should not be using 5 or 6. We should be using 4 because it's the height, because the height is always perpendicular to the base. So here we use the base and the height. Here we use both bases and the height. Was anybody absent yesterday and you didn't get one of the packets? That's what I was wondering, because I saw you leafing through your book. Yeah, I made your life easier. I printed these things. So just like what we were just looking at in the packet. So guys, anytime you're absent, 2 things you should do. Email all of us, like all 6 of your teachers, because then we can respond and like send you stuff.
Excuse me, interruption. Could I please send Stella Bernhardt to the office? Stella, please come to the office. Thank you.
So when you're absent, you should email your teachers. The day you get back, go check in with your teachers. Because if we have handouts or stuff you missed, you got to get it in your hands, right? Like, I forgot we had friends that were absent yesterday. So luckily I remembered to ask, but like, you know, you would have missed out on the packet. And that would have been a shame. So if you already did 115, don't redo it. You can just staple it onto here. And that's the same for anybody. If you already did 115, you can just staple it onto here if you didn't do it in the packet. But the rest of these homeworks I would like you to do in the packet. Does that make sense? Questions on anything? Alright, let's put away everything but our notes, which could be a continuation from yesterday. Could be a new sheet of paper. That is up to you. Anybody else that didn't get the homework packet yesterday, just before I move on? So to show this announcement reminder thing again, do not turn in 115 until you're done with homework for the week. Guys, here's why. I'll just tell you why. What I have to give back to you now, what is done and graded, sorry, these are done. What's done and graded is all of this, but each of you that turned in work have 2 or 3 papers mixed up in here. It would be much easier for me if your papers were together, right? I don't have time to grade tonight or tomorrow, so I'm being realistic and saying turn your papers in together. I can grade all of your stuff at the same time, okay? Any other questions before we move on? So please don't turn in 115. You can turn in 114 if you want. I don't care. I'm not checking it till this weekend. Do you want to make a card for, I wanted everyone's handwriting, but if you'd like to make a card for, like,
Try and copy your handwriting.
do you want to try to make a fake?
I can try my
Or we
best.
can just have her do it tomorrow. Just somebody, can you guys help me remember to ask who was absent today and make sure they do cards? Alright, so diving into the lesson then. Yesterday we talked about representing a proportion. I'm now up on the dry erase board, and I didn't have this when you guys were in class, but I have up there the general notes of how to convert fraction to decimal, decimal to percent, percent to fraction, like that whole sort of thing. And to go percent to decimal, do the reverse of decimal to percent. Right, so also in your book was this math notes box, and this is also in your notes that I gave you, like on your homework sheet. So this is the other reason I'm not allowing you to turn in your homework yet. Guys, on this homework paper is the math notes box. Look at it, read it, use it, highlight it. Like, it's your friend, it's there to help you. Same thing with all the math notes boxes. So any last questions? Oh, real quick to talk about it. 5/4. This is one that kids like to get confused by, or really anybody likes to get confused by. 5/4. When we go to make that a percent, anyone talk to me about 5/4 and making it like into a decimal and into a percent? I could use cards, but I'll take volunteer on this. I won't make anyone uncomfortable by selecting. Aiden?
I think 5/4 to the decimal, I think that'll be 1.25.
Yeah, and so 1.25, how does that turn into a percent? 1.25%, like 25? You mean 125%, right? So, just to make sure that we talked about it, are you not gonna behave? Oh, you're not plugged in. Silly goose. So 5/4. That if we wanted to convert to decimal, but we didn't have a calculator, look over here with me. Make the denominator into a 10 or a 100 or a 1000. So can 4 turn into 10 easily? Not really easily. It could. But when we think to ourselves of like 10, 100 would be easier. Right? 100 would be easier. So guys, you might want to write this down if you're still struggling with this stuff at all. To do that, we did a times 25 on the bottom. That does the same thing on top. We do another times 25. Because any improper fraction is going to be a decimal number bigger than 1. So we got to read it and like figure out, oh wait, so this is 125 hundredths, but I can't put 125 after the decimal, because that'd be 125 thousandths. So it's really 100. Yeah, it's 100 and, guys, this is where and is. And this is a big pet peeve of mine. And is the decimal point. So this is read as 1 and 25 hundredths. Ooh, yeah, because it's hundredths, so be careful. Now, we could also make this proper. Right? I could take an in-between step and say, well, actually, I could just write this as 1 and 25 hundredths. Right? If I wanted to make it proper first. But either way, when we become a percent, guys, remember what we said about percent yesterday? What does cent mean? 100. So guys, if you make a fraction that has 100 on bottom, your top is your percent. If you have 100 on bottom, this number in your numerator is your percent value. So that's another trick too. If you just put 100 on the bottom, if you make your fraction have 100 on the bottom, all right, so did I do magic in here yesterday? Did we not? Oh, and foundations. Okay, so do you guys think I'm magic?
Kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not really, actually. I'll be honest. But John seems excited. So John, are you magic? Who thinks they're magic in here? Mia. No, wait, Mia's already seen it because she's my advisor. That doesn't count. But all right, here we go. Non-advisory. So, pick a card.
Dang it, if I had said I was magic, I would be
I know you gotta believe in yourself. All right, I'm walking up here so she can show everybody. I'm not like the camera doesn't even have her in it. So let me know when everyone. Don't say it. Tell me when people know the card.
line for this?
You guys gotta
I
tell
can't
me.
see from there. Okay. It's a card. Is everybody seeing it?
It's a card. It's a card.
Alright.
Okay, now
No, it's a dog.
you can put it back in the deck. Somewhere in the middle.
It's a dog.
Try not to bend the card. Okay, so here's my question. Hold on. So if I just go to guess a card, like if somebody picks a card, I've lost both pens already. Guys, I'm really bad at this. Lose my pens all the time. In a deck of cards. Now we're gonna finish the trick in a second, but I need you all to write down this word. If you want to see the end of the card trick, you got to take a little bit of notes. Probability. Probability. I see some pencils not moving. Apparently we don't want to see if we're magic or not. What is probability? Anyone tell us about it? Katie?
My guess is since there's like a prob, some AC prob that it can like show up properly, so.
I like the word relationship. I like what you're doing there.
So.
Wait. So do you want to go by Vanessa or Valerie or Valeria? Ooh, wait, say it again. Valeria. Okay. Have you heard probability before? No? What about Jesus? I'm trying to find where people sat today too. Wait, where's... Sorry, your hood is up and I can't quite... I don't care if you guys wear hoods or hats, but then it confuses me day to day. Have you heard probability before? Can you give us an example? Do you ever like play board games or card games or anything like that? Like, give me an example.
Probability, if you have like, I actually seen this in a math problem, 5 yogurts, right? Strawberry, vanilla, raspberry, and cherry, right?
Okay. Did you work ahead on your homework?
No, I'm not sure.
There's a yogurt problem
Yeah,
coming
there is
up.
a yogurt problem. I know, I'm taking it from that.
Okay.
There is a to get vanilla, it's a 2 out of 5 probability because there's 2 yogurts out of the 5. So you have a 2, chance.
Please write this down. It's chance. Right? Probability is chance. Specifically, the chance that an event happens. So, if magic doesn't exist, if we pick a card, to know the probability of getting that card, just like your card is, how could we figure out what the probability of guessing your card? What do we think? Isabella? Isabella, right? No? I'm calling people the wrong names now. You're Antonella, my bad. Antonella.
To know how many cards are in there, and then
Do you know? Anybody? Ooh! So a deck of cards. This is info we're going to need written down. Deck of cards is 52 cards. So the probability of guessing the card, let's just say like right card. Well, how many cards does she have? 1 out of 52. So when we talk about probability, we write it like P, and then inside parentheses, we put the event we care about. So, John, you said you kind of want to say that you're magic now?
kind of.
So you can help in the trick. You got to say I believe first, though.
I believe.
Oh, give me more than that.
I
I believe! Knock up the deck. Oh, harder than that. Alright, actually did was he flipped the card over. So, John, because magic is real, John just flipped your card over. And your card's the King of Hearts.
Hey! Hey now!
Hey now. So, I might be out of class time. Was that your card?
Yes. What? It has the king.
Where is my schedule? That is not today's schedule. Hold on, don't pack up, because I'm just not sure how long I have with you guys. Oh, yeah, 12:15, because it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime. Let's go to lunch break. Have a great day. Hey, pack up your stuff, take it with you. You're going to 2A after lunch. So look at this, after lunch, 2A. 2A after lunch. We will talk more about probability tomorrow. Tomorrow.